What's up, everybody? Let's talk about Metaphor Refantazio. I've just completed this game. I want to give you my thoughts on it. Before I jump into it, though, I play a whole lot of video games. Some of y'all already know that. I play almost all of the new stuff, but my favorite has always been RPGs. I've loved the RPG series from when I was little. I don't know if it's the grand adventures or I love the fantasy setting, and a lot of RPGs are in the fantasy setting. And of course, Metaphor comes from the folks that make the Persona series. I've played those. I've enjoyed those, which they're not as much fantasy, but this is their fantasy take on it. And as far as it goes, it's a good game. There's a lot of people hyping it up. I don't think it's as good as everybody's hyping it up to be. I know they go for this like stylus. I can't even say the word. They go for this anime cartoon type feel, and it looks good, but in a lot of areas, it just doesn't look as polished, especially in the backgrounds. A lot of the backgrounds to me didn't look that good. There's a whole lot of loading. Now there's some pretty it puts up some pretty loading screens when that happens, or there's an animation happening. So for some people that they may ignore that a little bit. But when I really got to looking at it, I was waiting in loading screens constantly. Every time you do something, there's a loading screen. Every time you finish a day, it pops that thing up. We're going to crown a new king, and it just keeps doing it over and over again. There's a lot of downtime in this, and this is a long game. This took me about 80, 90 hours to beat, and when I got to looking back, a lot of that is loading, and I think it's too much, actually. And also just the narrative. Now, I really like the story. The story was good, but it's so much talking. You'll do a little bit of a battle, and then it's going to be 2 hours of talking and setting things up. By the end of the game, I was almost out of it. It's almost like I didn't care. I'm a completionist, so I wanted to finish it, and I started hitting the buttons. At first, I was loving getting to know all the characters. I personally believe there's too many characters in the game. There's too many because it's hard to keep up with it. And then there at the end, if you're wanting to complete all of their like side stories and get the best link with them, it takes forever. You're going to one, you're going to the next one, you're going to the next one. And then when you get at the end game, you got a chance. You can go around and talk to all of them before the end of everything. Of course, you done played this far, you want to do it. And then you go do that. And it became more of a chore to me. Now, again, I enjoyed the game. I did have fun, but I would put it somewhere between a 70 and an 80. I don't know, maybe a 75. Just for a lot of that stuff. And again, I'm an RPG guy. Some people say maybe you're getting burnt out with them. No, I'm fixing to jump right into Dragon Quest III right out of this. I got that Neo fantasy game coming later in the month. So it's not that. This one just kind of keeps, I don't know, it just keeps going when I think it should have ended. I'm personally not big into these super big games. I think the perfect time for an RPG is between 30 and 40 hours, because after that you're getting burnt out with it. And now if you're trying to save money and there's only one game, this is a big one. There's a new game plus. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna touch it. But there is a lot to be had, but you are going to sit through a lot of loading screens, and I hope you like a whole lot of talking, because there's going to be a whole lot in it. Now, you can get in a dungeon and run around and fight as long as you want, but you're going to run out of your magic points, so you're either going to have to come out of it or use the very few items that will restore that, and then you're afraid, well, am I going to need this in the future? So you just get it. It's kind of a weird vibe to it. And I'm even with Persona, I'm not a big fan of the day-night cycle type thing where you can do two things during the day. You got to choose what you're going to do with. Of course, they want you to go back and replay it. But I personally, to me, that pulls some of your freedom away, because you can't really do everything. Now, I know I sound like I'm down on it, but overall, it is a good game. You will like the characters and the story. It's just, if you're wanting to do everything, it's gonna be a grind, and it's probably gonna grind on your nerves. But that's kind of my thoughts on Metaphor. What do you guys think about it? Y'all, I may be completely wrong. You guys may loved every little interaction you did. Again, I play a lot of games. I play a lot of RPGs, and that's some of it. I was just ready to get to something else. But that is my thoughts on Metaphor. I'm gonna move it to a if it's a score out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 80. I'd put it right there at an 8 somewhere. Instead of a 7.5, give it that B on that teacher scale. But that's kind of what I think about Metaphor. Why don't you guys tell me what you think about it?